Okay, so for exercise 6, we have a whole series, a combination of fills, line work. Okay, so this exercise has a whole series of different combined line works, fills. Okay, so we're going to use a whole combination of these objects to create a very basic section as per this example. Okay, so for this example, all that you need to understand is that if you select these objects, you'll notice that they're grouped. If you ungroup an object, so by default, if I suspend groups, now if I select this object, you'll notice I can select the individual elements, but if I switch that off again, it'll allow me to switch the group again. So it's very straightforward. So if you select objects, you can group them and ungroup them. We'll get to that in a minute on how we group and ungroup things. But for now, you just need to start moving these objects to the right location. So I'm going to move this shape to its right location. So what I'm trying to illustrate is if you create a series of components, a building's just a series of components that you assemble. So don't try and draft from the beginning every time. Create a library of components that we use so that when you start a drawing, you've got a series of these components built up as per my example. Okay, so I need to put this one in the right location, so I'm going to move this one. And you can see using the move and drag tool, it's pretty easy. So it's very easy to assemble these drawings. Okay, this one's going to be slightly more tricky because we're going to have to use this intersection. So I'm going to move this one. That will need to snap to that intersection over there. You see our windows and sills. Okay, I'm going to grab this one. I've incorporated the line work. I'll explain how this works in a minute when we move these objects together. So I'm going to put this in the right location. Okay, so it's just these things have a draw order, and if they're not done correctly, you'll have a whole lot of hidden line work that sometimes doesn't work correctly. So I'm moving this object to its right location. Okay, you'll see that all of these things will stack up into the right location. Okay, so you'll see that line weights. If I bring this information, draw order, and I bring it forward by one, so bring it forward, you'll see it will sit above objects. That's important to understand. You want these to have the correct draw order so that they represent correctly. So you want the brickwork in front of the timber because technically they'll put brick, they'll do an infill of brick between the rafters or the trusses. Okay, so that's important to understand. Okay, so pretty straightforward. We're going to move this element. This one we might have to move a couple of times. Just note, while we're working, you'll need to go and double check make sure that these objects are connecting accurately. If there's any inaccuracy, you're not going to get the same dimension as me. So make sure everything is connecting correctly. That's very important. Okay. Okay, last but not least, I'm going to move this object. Okay, typically these will move in this direction. You can hold shift down, but you'll see that I'll try and snap to a bit of line work and work square. We typically try and give them an overhang of 50 mil. My apologies. Grab the right object, grab the snap. So you want to go 50 mils in this direction. So you get the correct overhang. Okay, important. So these had connected line work. Good. So you'll see that things will line up. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to go and measure that distance, and I want you to give me the area. So give me the area. So again, once again, just remember if there are groups and you want to select an individual element, you need to use this suspend group, or you can simply ungroup an object once you put in the location. So please give me the area of the filled region. If you've got multiple objects on top of each other, you can use the tab tool to cycle through objects. Okay, so if you've got two bits of line work over each other, use the tab tool to filter through what you want to select. So that's important to understand as well. Okay, you can just show area tool. Remember, I want areas in square meters. Okay. I don't want it in millimeters, and I want you to give me the height as well. So I'm going to use dimension tool. I have noticed when there's a lot of objects in the same place, it just gets difficult to select objects. So just bear that in mind. So I've made a mistake there, so let's just get rid of that dimension. Okay, let's do that again. So select, I want that point there, and I want that point there. And then double click in the direction I want to go. So just select, I want to go in that direction. Okay, and you need to give me that value. You need to give me the correct value. So I want from that point there to that point there. Okay, thank you.